Speak up. Speak up. When you want to shout, you know how to shout,
Mom,
right?
it would be too loud.
It won't be too loud. Speak up. We need to hear you. Again. I can't even hear you. All right, go on.
Oh no. Yeah.
Amen. Shh.
Thank you for the whole world. Thank you for our friends and family. Thank you for everything we have. Thank you for our school. Thank you for everything we love. Thank you for our church. We need help to get the coronavirus. Please.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. Okay, so today's lesson, today's lesson, the topic is fire comes from heaven.
Fire comes from heaven?
Is that a chapter?
So our chapter is 1 Kings.
1 Kings.
Chapter 18, 1 to 40.
So I need to go to page 372 of 25. Shush.
Wow.
301. 300
It's at
372.
Okay, let's do a memory verse first. Yeah? So our memory verse is Psalms chapter 145.
Psalms chapter 145.
Verse 3.
Verse 3.
Okay, it says, Great is the Lord
Great is the Lord,
and most worthy of praise.
and most worthy of praise.
Great is the Lord
Great is the Lord,
and most worthy of praise.
and most worthy of praise.
Again, say it. Great
Great is the Lord, and most worthy of praise.
Okay, so our reading is from 1 Kings. You're taking too long.
Sorry.
Judges. First Kings.
I need to take some. Second Kings is somewhere here. I saw it.
1 Kings chapter 18.
First Kings chapter 18.
What's it, Mommy?
So windy.
Move it, Zara, move it.
Where's it,
Verse
Mommy?
18.
Where's it, Mommy?
Next page.
Where's the Mommy?
Page
18.
Ah.
So from Amara, Michelle again, sit back. So we're reading from 1 to 18. So you read, yeah?
Yeah.
1 to
Wait, me?
Yeah, you read 1 to 19.
You mean in this part?
Yeah.
So that's 18.
Start from 1, so verse 1, yes.
During the 3rd year without rain, the Lord spoke his word to Elijah. The Lord said, Go and meet King Ahab. I will soon send rain. So Elijah went to meet Ahab. By his time, there was no food in Samaria. So King Ahab sent for
Obadiah.
Obadiah was in charge of the king's palace. Obadiah was a true follower of the Lord. The one at one time, Jezebel was killing all the Lord's prophets. So Obadiah took 100 of them and hid them in 2 caves. He put 50 in one cave and 50 in another, and brought them food and water. King Ahab said to Obadiah, "Let's look at every spring and valley in the land. Maybe we can find enough grass to keep our horses and mules alive. Then we will not have to kill our animals. Then we will not have to kill all our animals." So each one chose a part of the country to search. Ahab went in one direction, Obadiah went in another direction.
Okay, let me start. Let me continue from there. So, as Obadiah was walking along, Elijah met him. Obadiah recognized him, bowed down to the ground, and said, "Is it really you, my lord Elijah?" "Yes," he replied. "Go tell your master Elijah is here." "What have I done wrong?" asked Obadiah, "that you are handing your servant over to Ahab to be put to death? As surely as the Lord lives, there is no nation or kingdom where my master has not sent someone to look for you. And whenever a nation or kingdom claims you were not there, he made them swear they could not find you. But now you tell me to go to my master and say Elijah is here. I don't know where the Spirit of the Lord may carry you when I leave. If I go and tell Ahab he doesn't find you, he will kill me. Yet I, your servant, have worshipped the Lord since my youth. Haven't you heard, my Lord, what I did when Jezebel was killing the prophets of the Lord? I hid 100 of the Lord's prophets in 2 caves, 50 in each, and supplied them with food and water. And now you tell me to go to my master and say Elijah is here. He will kill me." Elijah said, "As the Lord Almighty lives, whom I serve, I will surely present myself to Ahab today." So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. When he saw Elijah, he said to him, "Is this you, you troubler of Israel? I have not made trouble for Israel."
Mom!
Elijah said, "But you and your father's family have abandoned the Lord's commandment, and have followed Baal.
Wow,
Now summon the people
Wow, it's mommy.
from all over Israel to meet me on Mount Carmel, and
It's mommy.
bring the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah
Wow,
who eat at Jezebel's table." Yeah?
Yes. I wish I had paper out here so then I could do some leaf drawing.
Anyways, so we'll continue from where we stopped. So today,
My bum hurts.
like I said before, yeah, our topic today is fire comes from
Fire comes from
heaven, and our memory verse is Psalms 145 verse 3,
Psalms 145 verse 3.
and it says, "Great is the Lord
Great is the Lord
and most worthy of praise."
and most worthy of praise.
I'm gonna say it. Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. Good girl. Okay, so So yeah, so the part we've already read is First Kings 1, 18, verse 1 to 19. That's what we read before. So in that place we saw that there was a famine, and one day.
Wait, so we stopped there?
Yeah.
I remember this one.
Yeah. So one day the King Ahab asked Obadiah, who was the governor, yeah, to go in search for some green grass to feed the animals.
Horses.
So Obadiah stayed faithful to God. In fact, when Jezebel was trying to get rid of God's prophets, Obadiah risked his life and hid them and protected them so that they won't be killed. Yeah? So Jezebel was a wicked queen. She was very wicked. And she wanted to kill the prophets, the people who serve God. Yeah? So as Obadiah looked for grass, he met Elijah, who told him to go and tell Ahab the king that he was around.
Can I go and give Obadiah some grass now?
No, don't worry.
He's not here right now.
So hey, listen. Now Ahab had been looking for Elijah everywhere, but every time Elijah was spotted, he disappeared.
It's me.
So Obadiah, who knew all this, was frightened when Elijah said, "Go and tell Ahab that he," and Ahab promised not to disappear. So Elijah went and told Ahab, who met Elijah. So Obadiah went and told Ahab, who met Elijah. Ahab blamed Elijah for the trouble in Israel, because remember there wasn't any rain. Yeah, there wasn't any rain in the country for a long time. Yeah. So the plants were dead. Yeah, and there wasn't like grass to feed the animals.
So all the flowers that were here were dead in Egypt.
Yeah, in Israel. So Elijah challenged Ahab to gather all the people and all the prophets of Baal. Baal is a false god. Yeah? And meet him on Mount Carmel, and there will be a contest to this.
Him?
Yeah. So he's a false god, he's not the real god, right? So they were going to do a contest to find out who is the true god on that mount, yeah? The mountain. So now let's continue reading from where we stopped. So that's from verse 20 to 37.
I'm already there.
Okay. So 20 to 37. So I'll read it. Where are we?
Ben.
What is it, Amma?
I turned her head because she kept on looking that way.
It's okay, don't worry. I'm gonna look this way, okay?
Yeah.
So Ahab sent word throughout Israel and assembled all the prophets on Mount Carmel. Elijah went before the before the people and said, How long will you waver? How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. And the people said nothing.
They just kept quiet.
Then Elijah said unto them, I am the only one of the Lord's prophets left, but Baal has 450 prophets. Get 2 bulls, so that's like a cow. Get 2 bulls for us. Let them choose one for themselves, and let them cut it into pieces and place it on the wood, but not to set it to fire.
You mean the bull?
Yeah.
That's
I will
weird.
prepare the other bull and put it on the wood, but not set fire to it. Then you call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord, the God who answers by fire, he is God.
Yay!
Then all the people said, what you say is good. Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, choose one of the bulls and prepare it, since there are many of you. Call the name of your God, but do not light the fire. So they took the bull given to them and prepared it. Then they called on the name of Baal from morning till noon. From morning to noon, "O Baal, answer us," they shouted. But there was no response. No one answered, and they danced around the altar they had made. At noon, Elijah began to taunt them and said, "Shout louder," he said. Surely he is a god. Perhaps he's in a deep thought, or busy, or traveling. Maybe he is sleeping and must be awakened." So they shouted louder and slashed themselves with swords and spears, as was their customs. No. Until there was blood, until the blood flowed. Midday passed, and they continued their frantic prophesying until the time for the evening sacrifice. But there was no response. No one answered. No one paid attention.
What does that stuff mean?
What's that?
This was the way they worshipped.
So that's how they worshipped their false god. That's what it means. Yep. So then Elijah said to the people, "Yeah, come here to me." They came to him, and he prepared the altar of the Lord, which was in ruins. Elijah took 12 stones, one for each tribe of the descendants of Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come, saying, "Your name shall be Israel." With the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he dug a trench around it.
What's a trench?
It's like a hole. Yeah?
A bit like a moat.
Yeah, like a moat. So he dug a trench around it large enough to hold 2 seahs of seed. He arranged the wood and cut the bull into pieces. Are you listening?
Yeah.
Laid it on the wood. Then he said to them, "Fill the 4 large jars with water and pour it on the offering and on the wood." "Do it again," he said, and they did it again. "Do it the 3rd time," he ordered, and they did it the 3rd time. The water ran down around the altar and filled the trench. At the time of the sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed, "O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let it be known today that you are God in heaven, in Israel, and that I am your servant and have done all these at your command." Yeah? "Answer me, O Lord. Answer me, so these people will know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back."
Mine doesn't say that.
What does it say?
Show these people that you commanded me to do all these things.
That's it?
Lord, answer my prayer. Show these people that you are God. Then the people will know that you're bringing them back to you.
Yeah, that's their hearts turning back, like this one said, isn't it? Okay, so Amara, are you listening?
Yeah.
Okay, so that evening, you know what the story says, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Elijah put a challenge. Amara, look this way. Elijah put a challenge.
Down the mountain to see who's the real Jesus.
Yeah, whose God is the real God, right? Yeah. So they put an animal to
a bull.
The bull, yeah, so they can have a sacrifice and the challenge was they're not gonna set fire on the bull. You know, when they make a sacrifice, they put fire on the bull, right?
Yeah.
But they said they're not gonna put fire on the bull. They want the real God to put the fire by themselves. Yeah, and everyone was praying to their own God, and so no one answered. I mean, the prophets of Baal were praying to their God, but their God didn't answer. Yeah.
So there was a man pretending to be God.
Yeah, there was some people worshiping something that is not God and pretending to be God. So Elijah had to prove to them that what they're worshiping is not the real God. Do you get it?
Yes.
Okay, so Zara, you need to read the last part, which is 37 to 40.
That must have been a
Lord,
long way.
answer my prayer. Show these people that you, Lord, are God. Then the people will know that you are bringing them back to you. Then the fire from the Lord came down. It burned the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the ground around the altar. So it also, it also dried up the water in the ditch. When all the people saw this, they fell down to the ground. They cried, "The Lord is God! The Lord is God!"
Next one.
Then Elijah said, "Capture the prophets of Baal. Don't let any of them run away." So the people captured all the prophets. Then Elijah led them down the Kishon Valley. There he killed all the prophets.
Okay, so we understand that, right?
Yeah.
So he ordered water to be poured on his own sacrifice, and even poured more than the other people. He poured 3 times, isn't it? And then Elijah stepped forward and prayed a simple prayer. When he finished, fire came from heaven and burnt up the sacrifice. And it even burnt up the wood, the stone, everything around it.
So everything turned into dust.
Yeah, like ashes.
Oh.
So what does that mean? That means that whoever could pray and their God came and burnt up the sacrifice was the real God. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So it was only Elijah that could do that because he was worshipping the real God. So that was evidence to everyone around watching the contest that God is the real God.
The one on the left was the pretend one.
Yeah. And Elijah was the real one. Because a lot of people were following the pretend God, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Elijah wanted to bring them back to the real God.
Yeah.
So they had to do that contest. So that the person who won would prove that their God is the real God, and God answered Elijah's prayer, and that was proof that Elijah was worshiping the real God like us. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So, application. God does mighty things for us. He does a lot of things for us. So he answers our prayers. He looks up after us. He provides for our parents, so they can provide for you as well. I'm gonna move back. Yet he shows us many ways that he is God indeed. We need to take courage and stand alone the way Elijah did. So when you're in school, when you're anywhere else, and they're doing things that God doesn't like, you need to be strong and be courageous. Remember when we did that one, yeah? Be strong and be courageous, yeah? So it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. What you know is God, and you shouldn't do things that God doesn't like. doesn't.
Jesus is good and good is Jesus.
Yes.
But how do we know what God doesn't like?
Okay. So we're going to do another
Tells
study.
us.
Yeah. We're going to do another study, and I'm going to show you guys what God doesn't like. Is that okay?
Because of the Ten Commandments that shows us?
That shows us, yeah. But I'm going
I'm
to
sure
teach you
he
guys.
doesn't like China because they give us the coronavirus.
Well,
Trump.
he doesn't like when people do bad things. But he loves everyone. But he doesn't like when we do bad things. Yeah.
He doesn't want us to be sick.
No. So in the same way, we need to stay true to God. Our generation may not be reached with the gospel, but we should believe in God by ourselves, right? So we need to stand for Jesus in our homes, in our schools. God, the God who helped Elijah, will also help us when we pray and call upon Him. Make sense?
Yeah.
But sit here, Tara. Good. And when temptations come, when people try to tempt you to make you to do something, you should have the courage to say no, so that we can be like Elijah and believe in God. Okay? Right. Question: why did Elijah tell Ahab and the prophets of Baal to meet him on Mount Carmel? So we have answers here, so you have to choose the right one. For them to plan on how for them to plan on how to bring back the rain. B, Elijah wanted to preach to them. C, Elijah was holding a crusade on the mount. And D, to prove who is the one true God.
D.
Which one is the answer?
D.
E.
There's no E, it's D. There's no D. Okay, so question number 2.
You just said there's no D.
There's no E, I said. Okay. Question number 2. What did the prophet of Baal do on the Mount of Carmel?
Wait, what?
What did the prophet of Baal do on Mount Carmel? Yeah? So answer number A is they refused to pray. B, they started fighting themselves. C, they called and shouted the whole day to Baal. D, they destroyed their god and burnt the altar. What's the answer?
C.
Tara, what's the answer?
C.
Okay, so the answer is C. They shouted all day
Yes.
for Baal.
Tara, you realize you just.
Amara, move back. There.
I'm thinking.
Good girl. Move.
Oh, I need the toilet.
Okay, soon. Question number 3.
Mommy usually says when we come back from school, if we're not in the house yet, she usually says behind the car I should have a toilet.
Can you imagine what you're saying with your mouth, Tara and Zara?
But she does say that.
You do know you're on camera.
Oh. Sorry.
Number 3. When it was Elijah's turn to pray, what did he do? So answers: A, he repaired the altar and called on the true God. B, he proclaimed a fast. C, he preached to the prophets of Baal. And D, he killed King Ahab. What's the answer?
I don't remember what the first answer was.
He repaired the altar and called on true God.
It's the first one.
A.
So A is the answer. He prayed to God and he repaired the altar, and he used the altar to prepare the sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now the last question: how did God answer the prayer of Elijah?
He burned the fire himself.
So the answers are: A, God sent down rain in Israel. B, God killed the prophets of Baal. C, God sent fire from heaven to burn up the sacrifice of Elijah. And D, fire fell down from heaven to kill the prophets of Baal. So, which one is it? Answer. C. Amara, come on, sit down there.
Why are you so far?
A bit more. Good. Okay, so that's the topic for today. Fire fall from heaven. So, Tara, what did you learn from the topic, from the lesson
Fire?
today?
God sent down fire from heaven. And
What did you learn?
the prince wanted to kill everyone from the Lord.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Zara, what did you learn?
I learned that
Hold my
God
hand.
is the true God,
Mm-hmm.
and we should always believe in Him.
Good. What else?
We shouldn't do the things He doesn't want us to do.
That's good. Anything else?
No.
No? So it doesn't matter if everyone else is doing whatever, you have to stand strong because you believe in God, right?
Yeah.
Even when people are tempting you or taunting you to do things, you have to believe in God, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's the end. Zara, pray for us.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Father, we thank you that you are our God and nobody else is our God. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for the Holy Spirit. Thank you for all the things you've given us in our life. Thank you for our lives. Thank you for everything we have. Thank you for our family and friends. Thank you for water and food. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And Shirley,
God,
goodness
goodness and mercy shall
follow
follow
us
us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the presence of the Lord forever. Amen. Please, God bless you.
God bless you.
Can we play a little, please?
I thought you said you need the toilet.
Yeah, I can hold it in.